Hey, Shorties. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday night, y'all. It's Saturday here, but yes, thank you for coming along. I see Dawn Marie in the house. I see Laurie, Life 360 for the win. I see Poppy. Hi, Poppy. I see AJ. I see Adam. Hi, Adam. Um, yes, here we are. Poppy's doing her standard, hey mum, talk to me more. And I'm like, yeah, I love you. We've been hanging all morning, girl. Kind of hanging and banging. Um, okay. Before I go any further, make sure that you have please liked. Um, I presume you're just subscribed, so that's great. Oh my god. Hi Buster. The kids. It's the kids. Hi kids. Ashley, welcome, welcome. It is a great theme song, isn't it? And Melissa Asylum wrote the lyrics and AI'd the music, and then my guy Adam put a video to it, an amazing video. He's so clever. So make sure you subscribe to Melissa and Adam, of course. Melissa is cranking out the most incredible tunes all the time, funny / uplifting bangers. She writes original stuff. She repurposes older tracks and puts them to punk yacht. And Adam is just the man. He has the most incredible, thought-provoking, mysterious conspiracy theories, interactive lives that mostly every night. Buster, goddamn. Oh, guys, okay. There's my dog voice. Lol. So both their channels are in the description box, but also Adam is going to drop them in the chat for us. Thank you for being here, Adam. You are my mod man, among other things. Speaking of mods, it's the Avengers. Hey, Jess. Good to see you, gorgeous. Thank you for coming. So, guess what? Earbuds. Shazah! They worked. I worked out how to put my god dang it. Got the Bluetooth working. I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen X, but that's questionable sometimes. LB's in the house. Welcome, welcome. I'll let a few people stream in. Let me do something for a second here. Wait, because I'm a professional. Who have we got?
Ready for the road less traveled? Join Adam Drives Helen on YouTube, where van life meets personal growth. And mysteries of the world come to life. Explore the unknown. Subscribe now. Adam Drives Helen, adventure, growth, and the unexplained.
Yeah, we have ads. Adam, can you, not now, but can you also tuck your Melissa Asylum one in for me and Rabbits? Not now, for future. Best. Can't wait to hear the sass, right, Jess? So, obviously, Donna Adelson fucked it for all of us, me, you. Who else was so pumped to get back into all things Adelson? It's been far too long. I was so pumped. And the crushing devastation to know that we wouldn't get to see all this tomfoolery. This isn't a sham trial. This is a proper trial. The prosecutor in this case, the murder for hire of Professor Dan Markel back in 2014, July the 18th. Yes, July, in Tallahassee, Florida, has been prosecuted by Queen Georgia Cappleman for the entirety of the case. It's been a long time coming. Donna was set to her trial. Right now I should be doing a recap or even a recap of maybe day one, day two. But Charlie decided to withdraw his what we all thought was a signed waiver to attorney-client privilege because Daniel Rushbaum, who was Charlie Adelson's defense attorney in November last year, sidebar, Charlie was convicted with on both counts, conspiracy to commit murder and murder one, and received life without parole. So I don't know, if I was Donna, I probably wouldn't have gone with Rashi. We call him Rashi. However, she did, and now Charlie did his Charlieing. He decided to maestro the shit out of it and orchestrate chaos, which he did. Dan Rashbaum has removed himself completely from as Donna's attorney. There was a second chair, Alex Morris, who'd been brought in at some point recently. Yes, Charlie fucked it all up. Standard Charlie. Such a disappointment of a child. Hey, K-Fan Christine. Hey, good to see you. Christine was at the standout at the State House on Thursday. I'm talking to Tom CPU tomorrow at 5 Eastern, everybody. So if you would like to hear more about from the horse's mouth what happened at that standout and all things. Ashley, jokes. So tomorrow at 5, Saturday at 5 p.m, Tommy CPU and myself. It's an epic weekend with Camp Shorty because 2 streams tonight, 3 tomorrow. I'm a fucking delight, right? So it just occurred to me that, is it FOMO? I guess it's FOMO. Grief. We're covering grief with Laurie, Life 360, grief and addiction, tomorrow night at 7. So be there for that if you can. Love you. That's okay. Oh, you only could stay for 15 minutes. That's okay. I couldn't get there at all, man. Ashley and I were in Melbourne a few weeks ago, standing out with Anna, the 3 of us. Next time on the 10th of November, hopefully we'll have some more people at our next worldwide free Karen Reid standout. So save the date, 10 a.m. Sunday, the 10th of November. But back to the Adelsons. I got all excited and like, oh, I miss this. It's like coming home. When we were watching some old Charlie testimony. I mean, he's a dick, so you know. That's all good, Elle. Sweet. And then I was like, well, Charlie's a fool, but Wendi is yet to be indicted. She is as yet, well, she's an unindicted co-conspirator. My prediction is, and still is, but it's been put back now, is that literally as soon as Donna Adelson is convicted and found guilty on both charges, conspiracy to commit murder and murder 1, that she will, sweet Ashley, that they will swoop in and arrest Wendi because, well, I think Wendy's an attorney. Well, Wendy's an attorney, an immigration lawyer. She's also a published author. Yikes. She's a podcaster, or she's been on a podcast talking about us. Hey, Zach, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Adam, Zach is not a troll, much to popular belief. Good to see you, Zach. So Wendi thinks that Wendi, I don't know whether she thinks now, I feel like she's probably feeling the hot breath of Georgia on her back of her neck. So that will be put back a bit. She's had a stay of execution, so to speak, before she will be arrested. She will spend the rest of her life in prison. Suck it, Wendi. But shall we watch some of the evolution of Wendi's testimony? So she testified okay. Sigfredo Garcia and Katie Magbanua, baby mama, baby daddy. Katie Magbanua was dating Charlie Adelson. Charlie Adelson very quickly saw that she was the girl to put him in contact with hitmen. Sigfredo Garcia, Katie and her baby daddy were broken up, but Sigfredo Garcia was best friends with Luis Rivera, who was the head of the Latin Kings in, Scary Family, right? Oh, Zach. Okay, I'm sorry. Absolutely, Zach is a troll, but we let him stay. Okay, Adam, Jess, yes. Yeah. So, which one actually though, Jess? The red one that she wore to the bar mitzvah? Oh my God, so inappropriate. Or the dress that she wore for both her testimony, one at Sigfredo Garcia and Katie Magbanua's first trial, in which Sigfredo was convicted and sentenced to life without parole, but there was a mistrial in Katie. It was 2 defendants. And then Katie was retried solo and was also convicted back in. So it was 2019 for that dual trial, which we're going to start with first. Wendi has her hair very sleekly straightened. She has all of the lip filler. I can't really judge, but it does dissipate over the time. Her face changes a lot. I think she had a facelift at some point because in one of them she's like, Oh yeah, poor Dan. In the event that they are arrested, right? So Wendy wore the same dress and suit jacket for both the first of Katie's trials and the second, the retrial. However, she didn't straighten her hair. She must have forgotten her straightener on that second trial. So even though she's wearing the same dress, and my speculation on that is that she did it so that if her children ever looked up her testifying, because obviously she's never going to be convicted, lol, that they would see her wearing the same thing, except the hair is so different. So her testimony, Wendy's testimony, does evolve, but there is impeachable stuff going on left, right, and center throughout. I have a whole playlist of shorts, 86, 87 shorts called Justice for Dan Maekel, which is also in the description box. And there's so many key moments in Wendy's testimony in all three of her, because then she also testified at Charlie's trial last year. But so it's just like, you know, I don't know, y'all have ever made shorts? I listen to them over and over again, getting the transposing the audio into words. You can do, there are apps that do it, but I prefer to do it old school boomer style and transpose it myself, and then aligning it all up, editing it. I've heard it so many times. There'll be times when I go, this is one of my shorts. I can't play them because they have music and I'll get a copyright strike. Random that you can use copyright music in shorts, but then if I was to play it here, I don't want that copyright strike. So check them out. 86. It's like an hour and 20 minutes worth of shorts. Oh, such a ride. Yeah, Laurie, it's fun. It's a good little refresher. So many mic drop moments. I'm pretty proud of that body of work, actually. So let me go present. And because I have earbuds in today, I don't have to be muting myself. It should be a lot more streamlined than the other night. Oh, also, I'm so sorry about Wednesday night when I went live at like middle of the night for you guys, and it felt like it for me. I was scattered and super tired and not properly prepared. So lesson learned. It wasn't my finest hour, but it was still all right. It just took a while to get going. Yikes! What do we got here? FSU law professor. This one. So this is not okay. So Dan Rashbaum. Wait. Dan Rashbaum wasn't. Let me just finish setting the scene. Dan Rashbaum didn't represent Katie and Sigfredo. So in this, Katie Magbanaw's attorney is a woman called Tara Kawas. And then, oh my God, I should remember. I meant to check and I couldn't find it anywhere. Christopher, somebody in the chat, Christopher somebody is the defense attorney for Sigfredo Garcia, and he goes in hard on it, Wendy. It's great. There's some amazing. Yes, you do, El. There's if you want to watch anything Adelson, I'm dropping it all in that playlist. So it's ordered most recent, so the shorts will be down below, and then all of these longer live streams. Anyway, let's go. Christopher, it'll come to me. Maybe they'll say his name. Of course they will. He's the attorney. So the way it goes is that it goes Georgia Cappleman, obviously prosecution, direct examination, and then I think then I can't remember the order. It's either either Sigfredo or Katie's attorney goes next on the cross, and then the second attorney. So if you've been following the YSL trial and there's about 45 attorneys, it's like that, but just 2 attorneys.
And could I get your name for the record, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
At the podium.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. It's John Lauro, Lauro, and I'm counsel for Ms. Adelson.
All right. And it's my understanding that the state is requesting the court to compel Ms. Adelson's testimony. Is that correct?
And also clearly not Judge Everett. He came on board for, I want to say for Katie's retrial, but we'll find out. It could actually be that he only dropped in with Charlie's trial, but he's definitely the presiding judge moving forward. This guy's lovely, but his voice, phew.
Ms. Cappleman?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And based upon that, Ms. Adelson, testimony you provide and anything derived from this testimony cannot be used against you, but you will be required to answer all relevant questions. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else you want to make?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Secretary, please.
Your Honor,
I just get an estimate on the time, so I know what
I think she said about 45 minutes.
would we then break after theirs and use a prostitute?
No. We're going to finish today with this witness.
I understand. I don't believe they would be able to do the deposition.
So notice her lips. It is lip liner as well. She's done a lip liner. Notice also her very, what is it when you say snatched? Her snatched jawline. Sidebar, Donna probably wishes she had that done before she was incarcerated.
That's up to you.
You guys can secure a report for us. Can use our pictures.
Oh, tonight you mean? Have to work on that. Don't know.
When
You're in the courtroom?
say, everybody be seated, please. May I proceed, Ms. Cappleman?
It's on 1.25, guys. If it's going a bit slow, I'll go to 1.5, and there'll be times when maybe I'll slow it down. We'll try to get through as much as we can in a couple of hours because I have another live coming up at 9 Eastern with Frank and Zim, Frank and Jim Zell, episode 5 in the Boulder Syndrome Endgame. It's called.
All right, please introduce yourself and spell your name.
My name is Wendi Adelson, Wendiadelson.
How are you employed, Ms. Adelson?
I'm an attorney.
All right, and do you know,
Microphone up just a little bit, if you would, please, ma'am. All right,
I'm an attorney.
all right, how were you employed back in 2014?
I was employed at FSU Law School.
Okay, and were you a member of the Board of Bar at that time?
I was.
All right, and did you know Dan Markel?
Yes, I did.
How did you know Mr. Markel?
He was my husband.
When did you meet him?
We met in 2004.
Okay, I'm definitely speeding it
And
up.
when did you marry?
Wendy,
We married in 2006.
she considers everything before she answers. Very
You ever lived in
measured.
Tallahassee?
I did live in Tallahassee.
When did you first move to Tallahassee?
We moved to Tallahassee in the fall, August of 2005, and we lived in Tallahassee that academic year, so from 2005 until the summer of 2006. And then we spent a year living in Miami from 2006 to 2007. And then I lived back in Tallahassee from 2007 to 2014.
Why did you move to Tallahassee the first time?
The first time we moved to Tallahassee for Danny's job, he got a job at FSU Law School.
All right, and what about the second time?
And the second time we moved back to Tallahassee because he had tried to get a job at University of Miami Law School and it didn't work out.
All right, so both times it was for his employment?
Yes,
Okay, did you like living in Tallahassee?
I did.
All right, and did you live on Trescott Drive?
We did. That was our home.
And where are you from, Ms. Adelson?
I'm from Broward County originally.
Okay, and do you have family members in Broward currently?
I have one family member in Broward.
Where do you live currently? Or you can just tell us.
I live in Miami-Dade County.
And what about your parents? Where do they live?
They currently live in Miami-Dade County.
All right, and what about your brother, Charles Adelson?
He lives in Broward County.
And do you have any children?
I do.
And how many children do you have?
I have 2 children.
What are their ages?
They are 10 and 8, turning 9 soon.
Okay, both boys?
Both boys.
And both the biological children of Dan Markel?
Yes.
So 2 hours from now, Elle, we've got Melbourne time right now is 9:21 because you're in Australia, aren't you? Anyway, so I always work on Eastern time, but it's plus 14. We're plus 14 ahead of the East Coast in the US.
How are your family members employed, specifically your parents and your brother?
My mom is not currently working very much. She helps out with my dad's office. My dad is a dentist, and my brother, Charlie, is a periodontist.
And does your family have a dental practice in South Florida
They do.
that they own and operate?
They do.
Is your family in South Florida wealthy? And that's a relative term.
Are you asking me to speculate?
No, I'm asking if they're wealthy. If you don't know, you say you don't know.
It depends how you define wealthy.
Okay. they millionaires?
She's such a brat.
Okay. When did you separate from Mr. Markel?
We separated in the fall of 2012.
And was part of the reason for your disagreement or separation having to do with how to raise the children in terms of your faith?
Yes, we had different ways of practicing our faith.
Yeah. Kosher style, y'all.
Do you know when you filed for divorce?
I believe it was the fall of 2012.
Okay, 9/10/2012 sound right to you?
That sounds right.
And when you separated initially in the fall of 2012, did you move to South Florida with the kids?
No, I did not.
You didn't go to South Florida with the kids?
No, I did not.
Was it your desire during that time to move with the children to South Florida?
I would say right then, no, it wasn't.
Are you familiar with a court order ordering you to come back to Tallahassee from South Florida?
I'm not familiar with that.
When you moved out from the marital home there on Trescott Drive, you
That's
lived at
cool,
another
Wendy.
residence in
Thank you
Tallahassee.
for
Is that
being
correct?
here.
I did.
And do you recall the address there?
I do. 3303 Aqua Ridge Way.
Okay. And was there a time during the time that you were living there at Aqua Ridge that you determined that you would like to move to South Florida with the children?
There was.
All right. And were your parents very involved in trying to facilitate that
God.
relocation?
My parents were supportive of me moving to South Florida
Would you describe your parents as being over involved in your personal business?
as compared to other people's parents.
Yeah.
Georgia.
I don't know.
Yeah. The sass. The sass. Here for it.
What was the child custody schedule when you were living at Aqua Ridge? And I assume Mr. Markel continued to live in the marital home on Trescott.
He did.
Okay. What was the custody situation with kids?
So the custody situation changed over time and
What is
depending
a
on
snatch?
the part of the year. But I think in the beginning, we would
What's a snatch
do
at
a
him?
Wednesday night overnight. It was about 50-50
She's a
shared custody,
biatch.
but I don't remember the exact
She's a
arrangement.
murderous
I do remember in the
biatch.
summertime it would switch to week on, week off, but during the school year it was slightly different.
So still 50-50, but not necessarily every other week. It was mixed up within the week.
It was.
Okay. And you mentioned that you did develop a desire to move to South Florida. Did you file a motion to that effect on January 14th, 2013?
100%
I did file a motion. I don't remember the exact date.
One,
Okay.
one
That sounds about
quadrillion
right.
All
percent.
right. And
babe.
in that motion, did you make some allegations that Mr. Markel was making things difficult for you at work?
I did.
Okay. And was that motion granted or denied?
That motion was denied.
All right.
Dog
Denied with
mom.
prejudice?
I don't remember.
Okay.
If you have it, I'm happy to take a look.
Okay. But in any event, you were not able to move at that time.
I did not move.
And were you upset about being stuck in Tallahassee?
I was relieved.
You really, you wanted to stay on.
Relieved.
I was happy to
Really?
get my job.
Okay, Wendy. Okay. Oh, hey, Jacuddy girl. Good to see
Do you recall when your
darling.
divorce to Mr. Markel became final?
The summer of 2013.
Okay. July 31st sound about right?
That sounds right.
Would you consider your divorce with Mr. Markel to be a nasty divorce?
I think most divorces aren't very pleasant.
Okay, but this one was like really unpleasant, right?
I found getting divorced to be unpleasant. Yes.
Okay,
And
Wendy.
in the litigation that ensued between the two of you, you guys argued over things as small as a tennis racket. I noticed in one pleading.
I don't remember that.
I don't
Did he
remember
threaten to
that.
press kidnapping
I'm a
charges
snotty
against you?
brat.
Overruled.
I don't remember
Remember
that. No,
I don't remember that.
Did he threaten to go after your law license?
Take this, Wendy, and
Remember that?
I don't remember that. No,
Do
actually
you remember
take
him
this.
saying you failed to disclose a bunch of assets in the divorce process?
I do remember that.
Okay. Did you guys have any mediations as part of your divorce?
We did have mediations leading up to settlement.
Two
Remember,
8-hour
she's on
mediations, correct?
1.5 XP.
I don't remember how long they were, but they seemed very long.
Yeah, and they both did not result in a resolution.
They did not.
I might slow down to 1.25. Wait.
All right, but you did reach a settlement, I think, kind of just on the eve of a trial on the matter, correct?
That sounds right.
Do you remember this motion that was filed by your deceased ex-husband on March 26, 2014, involving, among other things that had to do with your mother, an allegation that your mother was disparaging the children? I'm sorry,
Overruled.
That's
disparaging
Ara
him
Kawas.
to the children is what I meant to say. Are you familiar with that pleading?
I am familiar with that pleading.
All right, and in that pleading, did he allege that you were depriving him of physical access to the children?
I don't remember the specifics.
Do you recall whether he was complaining about you refusing to communicate with him about right of first refusal to the children during your time with them?
I know he was frustrated about the Skyping.
Lack of communication via Skype.
It's hard to
between you and the
Skype
children.
with two toddlers. Yes.
All right, and
Oh, she's like
in that
Wendy bot.
motion, do you
she's
recall
like a robot,
him
right?
being upset about an allegation that you let the kids eat non-kosher foods?
I remember him being upset about that in general, but I don't remember whether it was an emotion or not.
What does that mean, non-kosher foods?
So kosher rules have to do with the separation of milk and meat, or dairy and meat. So non-kosher foods would be meat that hasn't been killed in a way that conforms with Jewish law,
100%,
or the
Ashley,
mixing
100%.
of the two.
And is observing those types of eating habits something that's important to you?
It is not important to me.
And was it something that was important to Dan Markel?
It was important to Danny.
It was important to him that the children observe that way of eating, correct?
It was.
And in that motion, did he seek to restrict your mother's contact with the kids to supervised visits only?
I don't remember, but if you'd like to show me the motion, I can take a look.
Okay, but you don't remember that portion.
No,
All right. Do you remember the allegation that your mother made statements to the children that grandma hates you?
Overruled.
Grandma says you're stupid. Your father is trying to take my sunshines away. Anything like that? Do you recall?
no, but again, I'm happy to look at it if you'd like to show me.
I understand. Do you recall that Mr. Markel?
Like, honestly, I know I keep saying we don't want to comment on people's appearance, but girl, get a hair trim. Get your hair trimmed. There's some split ends there. Too much straightening, not enough trimming, not enough treatments.
Was
Yikes.
seeking sanctions against you personally in
Yikes.
that motion?
I don't remember that.
Do you know whether this would have been a motion that you would have
Rabito!
shown to your mother?
Hey, gorgeous.
Would she have been aware of it?
Mwah.
I probably
Good
would
to
have
see you,
shown my
darling.
mom the motion.
Is it fair to say that your parents are very protective of you?
She is
I think
very
that's fair to say.
creepy.
Is it fair to say that your brother is very protective of you?
I think that's fair to say.
Okay. What about Dan Markel? Did your family like him?
Do you want to specify a point in time?
Well, I'm specifically thinking of a statement you made in the interview after his death, where you indicated that your parents were very angry.
You're gorgeous,
Is that accurate?
rabbit. Your
At that
hair's
point in
gorgeous.
time,
I
during our
assume
divorce,
I've never
I do
seen
think they
you.
were angry with him. They felt like
Hey, puppy.
he had treated me badly.
Hey, baby.
And the motion to preclude your mom from having unsupervised contact with your kids, that was still pending at the time of his murder, correct?
That's possible. I mean, I don't think anyone took that motion very seriously.
Okay. Did your mom take it seriously?
I don't think so.
Did Dan Markel take it seriously?
I don't know how Danny felt about a motion. If he wrote a motion, he was probably taking it seriously.
Right, Laurie? Hey, Tattletales. Good to see you. Thanks for
Approach with
joining.
some emails. Have you had an opportunity to review State's Exhibit 80?
I need to get my, oh, this thing screws with me so hard. See my Shorty sign? There? It says Shorty, but you can't tell.
I don't know if you want to do it now, or I'm gonna request a sidebar on this.
What's that?
I'm gonna request a sidebar on this.
Letter of identification.
Right? Get Danny's name out of your disgusting robot mouth, Wendi fucking Adelson.
State's Exhibit 80, just take a moment and flip through, make sure this is the exhibit you had previously.
I've been shown these exhibits.
Okay. And are these exhibits fair and accurate copies of these?
No, sorry. Don't call
They
him
are.
Danny, Wendi. I hate it. Call him Jibbers,
The
you
email
bitch.
addresses on this exhibit.
Oh, Astro Lunatic. Tick.
My parents have a
Thanks
joint
for
email
joining,
address.
darling.
Okay, but you were communicating with one of them in particular and using it.
Yay.
Whoever signed the email, but it could be from either or both of them.
Okay, either could have used it, but we can deduce from who signed it. who
I'm
didn't.
so
That sounds
sorry.
right.
Okay, and
That sounds right. I don't know. Is that contouring there? Is that a facelift? I'm thinking facelift. What do you think? Again, no, the appearance. I don't know. I would have spent more money on other things if I was getting work done. But anyway.
and Wendi Adelson at gmail.com, is that you?
That is me.
All right, Judge, at this time I ask you to open up State's Exhibit.
We'll go sidebar.
You can say whatever words you want. I haven't even put the monetization on for this, so stay it away. Yes. Sudoku
Let me
eyes.
give a brief legal explanation to the jury. You've heard a number of hearsay objections about things that were said by Mr. Markel, things that are
Markel.
in these emails by another person who may not be testifying. Normally, we refer to those things as hearsay, and they're not allowed without the person actually testifying, but there are a whole bunch of
Snake.
exceptions to that. And one of the exceptions to that is when it's not being offered to prove that what's said is true, but simply to show that it has been said because
Welcome in
there's
all you
some
new people
relevance
coming
to
into the chat. Thank you for
the fact
being
that
here.
these statements were made.
You're lurking or in the
So
chat,
I'm not
either or. We
offering
love
these
you. And
statements to
replay
show
through
they're
is
true.
gay.
These
Mwah.
persons, I mean, obviously, Mr. Markel can't be here for us to have cross-examination of him. We don't anticipate that the other Ms. Adelson will be here as a witness. We can't test. The attorneys will not be able to test that to see whether that's true or not, but I am allowing it for limited purposes to show state of mind of these persons. So you may proceed, Ms. Cappleman.
Just
I noticed in the emails that your mother referring to, who I think is Dan Markel, as gibbers. What does that mean?
I mean, snakes don't have arms, so maybe she couldn't reach because I don't know. How did she do the back of her hair? Jibbers, this is wild, this bit. She's such a fucking liar.
Jibbers was a nickname that I gave Danny when he was being really difficult and causing me a lot of pain. Was sort of a nickname I gave him to make him feel less threatening.
So it was a derogatory thing.
I wouldn't say it was derogatory.
Did you
Righto,
call him
mate.
that to his face?
Fuck off,
No, I called
Wendi.
him Danny to his
Fuck off.
face.
Okay.
And gibbers would be what? How would you spell that?
I don't know that I ever spelled it out. In the emails, I think it's.
Wait for this.
But I guess you could spell it with a G.
Jibbers.
That would be one way to.
Ms. Adelson, you had Mr. Markel's phone number programmed into your phone as Jibbers.
Oh,
right.
snap, Georgia.
Do you know much about your brother Charles Adelson's business practices?
I know that he does implant surgery.
Her
Do you
and
know
daughter
anything
both.
about whether he offers discounts for cash or does a lot of business in cash?
I have no idea.
Do you know if there's a safe in your parents' house that has stacks of cash inside?
And
I
an
don't know about
author,
the
Jess,
safe
and
with
an
stacks of
author.
cash.
So you don't have a stack of cash in your parents' safe. That's Wendy's stack.
No.
Okay.
Robots
Um,
don't need money.
Did Charlie Adelson like Dan Markel? And again, I'm referring to the time frame before his death.
I mean, I think he was also, he would listen to me when I would tell him about things I was upset about at the time with the divorce. So whether he liked him or didn't like him, he certainly was supportive of me.
Okay, but he never expressed any dislike.
No,
Did he mention hiring a hitman to kill your husband?
Objection, hearsay.
no.
I don't know about that, Wendy. Wind it back. We'll get there.
Did he ever joke about he looked into hiring a hitman, but buying you a TV as a divorce present would be cheaper?
He did make that joke. He
Hilarious.
tended to repeat himself, and sometimes he would make jokes that weren't very funny about all kinds of things.
All right. And was that TV, did he buy you a TV as a divorce
He
present?
did.
And
No,
was
Wendy.
that TV the same TV that was being
I'm a
repaired at your
typo
residence
queen,
at
Wendy.
the
Gotcha.
time that your husband was murdered?
It was.
Who made the arrangements for that TV repair?
I did.
Your
coffee
mom
or a
didn't make those
wine?
arrangements?
I don't believe so.
And the repairman was at your house that morning that your husband died between 8:30 and 9:15. Do you agree with that?
I remember he was supposed to come between 8 and noon, and then he ended up coming on the early side.
That's when he arrived, between 8:30 and 9:15.
It's my best recollection.
How do you reckon she'll do that, Rabbit?
Did Charlie ever
can
say that
teach
he
her if you
considered all
need to.
possible options to take care of the problem being Dan Markel?
Objection, hearsay. And
Oh.
no, I just have a standing objection, so I don't think you
You
don't understand that.
Did he ever say that?
No.
After the murder of Mr. Markel, did Charlie Adelson take you out for a celebration dinner?
No.
Wait for this, Adam.
Do you
Wait for
recall
this.
any dinner where shortly after Mr. Markel's death, where you were with Mr. Charlie Adelson and vomited?
I do remember that dinner. I'm sorry?
Go ahead, I interrupted you.
After Danny died, I was terrified that someone was going to come after me or my children and harm us as well. And so I didn't
Fuck
leave
off.
my house for about a month. And when I finally felt ready to leave the house and have dinner, I told my brother that I wanted to have dinner, that I was ready to finally go to a restaurant and eat a meal again. And I'd barely eaten for a full month, just out of grief and shock. And so that night when I finally ate for the first time, they ended up taking a while before they sat us, and they sat us at the bar, and I had a drink.
Wendy, I think that's a relatively common feeling. However, I believe that they absolutely have enough on her. We don't know what they know. And what we know they know, Donald Rumsfeld, we know. And they have a lot. And she's also her impeachable stuff, which is just wild to watch through these testimonies. We won't get through all 3 of her testimonies today, obviously. So I'm probably going to do another one of these next weekend and probably the weekend after, because it's well worth reminding ourselves that have faith. That Georgia has a plan, in my opinion, and that plan is to continue on with Wendy and her sound but unfounded belief as an attorney. This is crazy that she thinks this, but that she is safe from prosecution due to her derivative and use immunity. So that's not the case, and there's so much there. I just think that they're methodically working through. They started with the hitmen and the middle girl, Katie Magbanawa. Charlie, boom. Donna's going to go down, boom. Then they'll indict and arrest Wendy, boom. I don't think they'll ever get Harvey, and bless his heart, the poor man. I mean, not the poor man. He was complicit in this also, in my opinion, allegedly. Come for me, come at me, bro. But yeah, I think that Wendy will go down. It's just a shame that it's not going to be in 3 weeks. It's probably going to be in 8 months.
And I wasn't used to eating anything or drinking alcohol, and I threw up at the table. The only time in my life I've done something like that, but it was certainly not a celebration.
And you never heard your brother refer to it in that way?
No.
Nice callback, Astro Lunatic.
Were you involved in any way in a plot to kill Dan Markel?
No,
Do you have any knowledge other than the statements you said your brother made or the jokes your brother made? Do you have any knowledge of anyone being involved in a plot to kill your husband?
no.
Do you know Catherine Magbanwa?
There it is,
I have met
Wendy.
her before.
Exactly.
How do you know her?
We met one time at dinner when I came home and my brother introduced me to her. And I think we might have gone to the beach once with her and a friend for a few hours.
Let me show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 36. Is that a photograph of you and Catherine Magbanwa at the beach?
With her friend, yes,
Okay, and do you remember the friend's name?
we don't.
All right, is this a very accurate photograph from that event?
That looks like the three of us at the beach, yes.
Do you recall when this was taken?
That jawline, man. That jawline. Is it
Father's Day
contouring? I
began
think it's a bit of both.
2014, is that
I feel
correct?
you, Wendy. I also do that, but
So
I don't
June
look like that from the
2014,
side.
that's
Yes, ma'am.
possible.
Rabbit. Volleyball. In Australia,
All right,
she'd
would it
be a
refresh your
netball
memory to
player.
look at the data associated with that photograph?
Sure.
Sure. Ugh. Ugh.
Take a look at this top block there.
Mm.
This is this photo. Tell me if you can.
So
find
bad.
some photos taken.
She's had an
Looks like
eyelid
it was
lift
taken
for
on
sure.
June 15th, 2014.
All right, and do you know where the photo
That
was
doesn't
taken?
help. I mean, that helps with the
I think
Joe
that's
eye
South
look.
Beach.
Close to where your parents.
Netball, yeah, Rabito.
Yes.
Netball. And she'd be a fucking goal attack,
And did you say
bitch.
how you know Ms.
Bitch.
Magbanwa?
She was dating my brother.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask to introduce State 36.
Is there objection?
None from Mr. Garcia, Judge.
None from Ms. Magbanwa, Your Honor.
There'll be a
So
minute.
much. I mean, Rabbit, I can't talk, but, you know. My injection has put permanent filler in 5 years ago, and I'm stuck with these bad boys. They do the trick.
All right, so which one did you?
I'm the one in the middle,
And
Such a brat.
the one on the left-hand side to the right of me in the photo.
this one's her friend?
Yes,
Megan's.
yes.
Approach and show you one more photo. This is at 37.
Bailiff, hydrating. Stay hydrated, Bailiff.
I
Good
don't
work.
recognize that photo, but I
Good work.
recognize the
He's
people
like,
in
this
it.
shit is making me thirsty.
That's my brother, and I think that's Katie.
Cool photo.
See Catherine Magbanwa?
Yes,
Yes, very accurate photo of the two of them. When, I guess around the time of their dating.
that looks right.
Judge, this time I'd ask you to go to 637.
Is there objection?
Yes,
Yes, Your Honor,
Sudoku
this is
eyes.
not able to properly authenticate that picture in terms of when it was taken and where it was taken. I will
It's the same.
Your brother dated Catherine Magbanwa?
Yes,
Okay. And was that the context in which you became acquainted with her? Was through your brother?
yes.
Do you know when they began seeing each other, your brother and Ms. Magbanwa?
I have no idea.
Hard slag.
Do you know when they stopped seeing each other?
I have no idea.
Do you know whether the relationship between your brother and Ms. Magbanwa was a serious relationship?
I met many, many girlfriends of my brother's over the years. I didn't get any indication that it was a serious relationship.
Okay. He's a guy that has a lot of girlfriends.
Fact.
He has had a lot of girlfriends.
How many girlfriends
Yeah.
has he had since Catherine Magbanwa?
How many
I have no idea.
STDs has he
Several?
had since Catherine
Probably.
Magbanwa?
And does he have a child with someone now?
He does have a child.
How old is your brother?
He's a little baby
43?
bitch boy.
Has he ever been married?
No.
Do you know whether your brother makes a practice of giving gifts to his former girlfriends?
I have no idea.
Are you aware of any specific gift he's ever given to a former girlfriend?
No,
No. No. Her little baby voice.
Do you know Sigfredo Garcia?
no,
Have you ever met him?
no.
I want to ask you about the week prior to Mr. Markel's murder.
No.
Like
But,
June 30th through July
I
10th,
guarantee you that
2014. Were you
Charlie
in South Florida that
Has
week?
had a lot of STDs.
I know I was in South Florida for my father's 70th birthday. My dad's birthday is July 5th. I don't remember if his party was on his actual birthday or a little before or a little after, but I remember I went down for his birthday.
Can you tell the jury whether or not you were in South Florida on July 1st, 2014?
I couldn't say for sure.
Okay, but
I may have traveled that day. I don't remember exactly when I went down. I only remember I was there for probably about a week.
Rabbit, on that note, no STDs for me, but I'd be the last person to slut shame given my former profession. But we can shame Charlie for anything that Charlie's done or said because he's a fucking idiot. Same with Wendi.
week, and then I went down for my dad's birthday, but I couldn't tell you more exactly than that.
Your dad's birthday's on the
Hi,
5th
Miss Mandy Reacts. Good to see you.
Of July.
Thanks for joining. Hard yes, Rabito.
Was
Hard
Mr.
yes.
Markel planning to leave town the day after he was murdered?
I believe he was.
Do you know where he was going?
I believe he was going to New York to visit his girlfriend,
And how
to visit his
Blue
girlfriend.
waffle?
how old was Mr. Markel when he was killed?
Oh, she has to calculate this shit.
He
Fuck
was
off,
born in
Wendy. Fuck off.
1972, and he died in July of 2014. Before his birthday's in October, he was 41.
Wendy knew.
41 years old.
Yes,
Come on now. Timmy.
Did law enforcement in this case analyze your cell phone?
I gave them my cell phone.
Okay. And
I like what you
in
called
your
it
cell
there.
phone, you have some
Sociology.
contacts
Yes.
for
Sociologically.
Donna
Oh, yes,
Adelson,
yes,
Harvey
yes.
Adelson, and Charlie Adelson, as well as Gibbers, who we've established as Dan Markel. Are all the
Oh.
phone numbers?
Oh, no. Oh, dickhead. Dickhead.
Not be able to test that to see whether that's true or not.
Sorry. Yikes.
Did he ever joke about he looked into hiring a hitman, but buying you a TV as a divorce present would be
Ah,
cheaper?
He did make that joke.
fettuccine.
He tended
I was coming in to say that, in my opinion, sex work is the glue that keeps relationships together in society. Without them, many men would have emotional affairs, and sex work is an admirable and very difficult profession. So there's that. But also, so's being a YouTuber, because yikes, where did I lose us to? Sorry, team.
tended to repeat himself, and sometimes he would make jokes
Mm.
that weren't very funny. In 2014, that's
Ma'am.
possible.
More. God damn it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, look, we always show that great photo.
That picture in terms
Yikes. Oh, here we go. It tells me where I was up to. See, I am a professional. All right.
Correct.
Oh, thanks for the super
Correct.
sticker, Miss Mandy Reacts. That's awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Evidence takes 175.
There's an objection from the second.
Yes,
legal
Jess.
Your Honor, I think it would require a speaking objection, so I'm not sure how you guys handle
State
it.
your legal objection.
The legal objection is going to be relevant at this point. as well.
Mwah. Thank you.
All right, I'll overrule that objection. No, admit, State's Exhibit 175.
I want to talk about your location on the day of Mr. Markel's murder.
How can you forget
you
Blue
know that
Waffle,
law
AJ?
enforcement looked at your
Whoa,
phone
don't
and
Google
sort
it.
of looked at your movements that day.
Yes.
Okay. And that information indicates you were home at the Aqua Ridge residence at approximately 12:27 in the
No,
afternoon
you
that
never
day.
shut
Is that
up.
correct?
Never shut up.
I don't remember exactly
That's
what
what
time, but
chat's
that
for.
sounds right. I
Chatting.
know I had left to meet some friends for lunch, so I guess I was home until that time. That sounds right.
All right. So it seems like kind of around lunchtime, about
Nick.
half afternoon.
Nick
Sure.
is in
All
the
right.
house.
And then shortly after that, at
Hola. Good
12:29,
to see you.
it appears you were traveling on Centerville Road. Is that a normal way that you would ingress and egress from your Aqua Ridge residence?
That sounds right.
All right. And when you left your residence, you said you were going to lunch. Did you go directly to lunch?
No, I stopped and made a purchase for a party that I was supposed to attend first.
And what was that purchase?
It was my first time purchasing bourbon. It was for
Yes. Hi,
it was for
Jacqueline. Good to
like
see you.
not a
But
bridal
wouldn't
shower.
it
It was for
be?
a bachelor. No, it was for
Don't
a
know
wedding
if,
party, but
Deb
it was
knows.
the bride and
We
groom
did.
together, and they had asked for people to buy certain alcohol to help them.
Like a stock the bar party.
a stock the bar party.
Immigration
I
law,
forgot what it's
Rabbit.
called.
Okay.
Immigration.
And do you remember what type of bourbon you purchased?
I don't.
Does Bullet bourbon sound familiar?
Maybe it was.
All
They
right.
had a list of what they wanted, and so I asked the person at the store if they had whatever kind it was.
Okay. And do you recall where you went to purchase the alcohol?
I think I went on Thomasville Road at ABC Liquor.
Okay. Is there a reason you went to that particular store?
No, I don't know many liquor stores. That was the first one that popped up.
All right. And you made that purchase according to the receipt that was in your vehicle at 12:49. Does that sound about right to you?
That sounds right.
Okay.
That sounds right.
And did you make any stops between leaving your residence and going to the liquor store?
Maybe I purchased gas?
Wow. I called this this live stream Wendi Adelson, a trip down memory lane, in brackets Trescott. So wait for it, y'all. If there was anything more incriminating in this case against Wendi, I don't think there is. This is it. Ready for the mic drop.
I don't know if you did or not, but I'm referring to your visit to the crime scene.
I did not visit the crime scene.
You did not pull up to the crime scene tape on Trescott Drive?
No. I was driving on Centerville Road, and sometimes I would take the shortcut through Trescott,
Yes, ma'am.
but when I was driving on.
It's not a
Parental Road,
shortcut.
I saw some
Spoiler
sort
alert.
of tape or obstruction, and so I didn't turn.
Okay. And then you went from liquor store straight to the restaurant?
Yes.
All right. What restaurant was that?
What was the name of that restaurant?
Mosaic?
Mosaic.
Have you seen the photographs that were taken of your vehicle?
I have not. That looks like my car.
Really, Ducati girl? Well, well, well. It
That
was a
looks like
given.
bourbon,
You couldn't
yeah.
stay. So good, Adam. Everything you do is amazing, Adam. Everything. Drop your link in the chat,
Who
Adam.
had your kids the morning that Mr. Markel was killed?
The kids were at preschool.
But I mean, at what home did they wake up that day?
That morning, I think they were at Danny's house.
I think. As if you didn't know, Wendy. As if this day wouldn't be burned in your brain forever. She's such a lying
Did you
McLiar
stand to
face.
gain anything from your husband's death, like financially?
No.
Do you know how much the lawyers that assisted you with the divorce process and litigation that followed the divorce, do you know how much they cost?
How much my lawyers
How
or
much you
Danny's
spent on
lawyers?
lawyers? Yeah.
I honestly don't remember.
Fair to say it was a lot of money?
Righto, Wendy, whatever you reckon. As if Wendy doesn't know all of everything. All of everything. She's such a lying McLiar.
Ready for the road less traveled? Join Adam Drives Helen on YouTube, where van life meets personal growth. And mysteries of the world come to life. Explore the unknown. Subscribe now. Adam Drives Helen, adventure, growth, and the unexplained.
Money?
It felt like a lot of money to me.
How many different lawyers did you have during the pendency of
I'm
your
such a
divorce and the litigation
professional.
that followed?
Adam is such
I
a
had 3.
professional.
Do you know how many Mr. Markel had?
I don't remember.
Do you remember your mom suggesting a plan to offer Danny $1 million to allow the relocation of you and the children to South Florida?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
It's not a shortcut.
I'm
It's
sure I knew
not
about
a
it at the
shortcut.
time that it happened. And then I had my
Second
memory refreshed about
profession.
it.
Yeah.
Did you ever make the
Oh,
offer to Mr.
I
Markel?
just snorted at him. He's not a clown.
Did you move to
he's the
South
best.
Florida after their father was killed with the children?
So after he was killed, I went to,
What
I packed
is
a weekend bag
juggalo?
and went to South Florida for what I thought would be a couple of days, maybe a week. My son's birthday was July 29th, and I thought we'd be back in Tallahassee by then.
Did you ever
Righto,
come back?
Wendy.
I did come back a few times, but not permanently.
Okay, so you ended up moving there permanently.
I wouldn't say it's permanent. but
Hello,
moving there
Excel
right now.
Lori.
Well, it's been 5 years.
It has been a while. I've been exploring options for
Aw,
employment
thanks,
in many different
Jacqueline.
places.
I go all right.
And when you
me.
initially left to go to South Florida, was that the same day as the funeral service for your husband?
No,
Was it the day after?
it might have been the day after or the day after that. I don't remember.
Did you change your children's last name from Markel to Adelson?
I did.
When was that done?
I can't do the arrows. That way.
So
That way. Fuck. Not a professional.
after Danny died, there was a lot
Lordy
of press coverage. And CNN put pictures of my children's faces unblurred on national television. Newspapers put their names without any consideration to the fact that they're children. And
I
I thought
appreciate that, but the question is when did you change their name?
when they started
Rude,
school,
right, Nick?
I registered
so
them
rude.
under my name, hoping it would keep them
Oh,
safe.
Laurie, thank
And
you,
then-
darling.
Approximately a
Mwah.
year after
I love
their
you.
dad
I
was killed?
appreciate you. Can't wait
It
to
was
talk to you
whenever
tomorrow
I
night.
registered them for school, so it was soon after. But I didn't legally change their name until after that.
Okay.
Fuck off, Wendy. Fuck
And
off,
where did they
Wendy.
start school? When you say you changed their name when they started school, was that here in Tallahassee or somewhere else?
No, it was in South Florida.
She really is, isn't she, Adam? Beautiful, beautiful
So
person.
that fall, they started regular enrollment like you would in the normal beginning of the school year.
That's right.
And did you also eliminate your older son's middle name
When I legally changed their names, I did.
and you just dropped that from the name?
I did.
Okay. And that was a name that came from Dan Markel's deceased maternal grandmother. Is that correct?
The name started with an A, which was to honor my grandfather, Aaron Adelson, and the second half of
Wendy.
his name was to honor
Can't
Danny's
stand
grandmother.
her.
So we lost an honor to both families.
Thank you. No further questions.
Proceed.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Yay, Laurie. Yay. So exciting. 7 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern, y'all. Me and Laurie Life 360 talking about grief and addiction. And I cannot wait.
Ms. Adelson, I
Laurie's a
represent Mr.
beautiful
Garcia,
soul.
and I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Let's fucking go, mate. Christopher, whatever your name is.
Charlie's your older brother or younger brother?
I'm the youngest in the family, so both my brothers are my older brothers.
And how many years older is Charlie than you?
So we covered the other night, but you might not have heard it, and perhaps if you're new to the case, you might not understand that there are two brothers, Rob and Charlie Adelson. Rob is the oldest and extricated himself from the family temporarily and then permanently once it dawned on him that, yo, they're murderers. Yikes. But this is interesting because Christopher, oh, you're going to have a celebrity. Hey, everyone. Sherry Berry, thanks for joining. Happy Friday. It's sad day here, but same. What day is it? Hey, Megan. Yikes. YouTube does suck sometimes, but jokes, lol, YouTube. Love you. Couldn't do this without you. Listen to this, because Christopher, God, I wish I remembered his last name. Chris, anyone? He froths over Charlie. I think he's I don't know what happens here, but let's let's see, because he seems to be a fanboy of Charlie.
He's approximately 3 years older.
Would you describe your relationship with your brother as a close relationship?
I would.
And the brother I'm referring to is Charlie. And just for the record, all the questions I have with regards to brothers is going to be focused just on your brother, Charlie, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Charlie graduated high school,
He did.
college,
He did.
dental school.
He did.
So he has,
With
substantial
Daddy's help,
educational
by the
background.
way.
Yes.
would you consider him to be book smart?
He did very well in his classes.
So that would potentially be
yes.
yes. What about street smart? Do you think he was kind of street smart?
I think he's good with people.
And would it be fair to say that he has a wide range of friends, different types of friends?
He has a lot of friends.
Would you say, well, are there certain friends that he goes out nightclubbing with?
I don't know. He doesn't talk to me about nightclubbing.
Well, when he has social events, do you ever go out with him socially?
I haven't in a long time. I'm pretty busy with my kids. But I have once or twice gone out with him.
Or is Donna
And is
busy
it
with
the
your
same types
kids?
of friends
Wendy?
that he goes out to
Jesus.
these social events with?
He would usually go with his roommate, who's, I don't think they're living together anymore, but they lived together for a while.
Would you agree with me that your brother Charlie was I don't want to call him like a socialite, but he would frequent the nightclub scene?
I honestly don't know that.
Megan, it got postponed.
So your single
Rusty's
brother,
withdrawn.
pretty handsome guy, right?
Months
he's
now.
handsome.
That's why we're doing
We've
this
seen his
instead.
pictures. Good-looking guy. Never been married, right?
No.
And what kind of car does he have?
Wait.
For a while, what does he have? What is he driving right now?
Well,
He likes cars. Like he
He has a
Wait.
lot of cars, right?
Of course, I was
And
talking
these aren't
over
like
the phone.
Hondas or Toyotas. They're Mercedeses and
Wait.
Ferraris, right?
Can I do
he
this?
drove an unmarked police car
No.
for a while.
But that was
Cars. Like
he has a lot of cars, right? And these aren't like Hondas or Toyotas.
I honestly don't know that.
So your single brother, pretty handsome guy, right?
I think he's handsome.
Right. We've seen his pictures. Good-looking guy.
What?
Never been married, right?
What?
No.
And what kind of car does he have?
Yes, Megan.
for a while,
Yes.
What does he have? What is he driving right now?
Well,
He likes cars. Like
He has a lot of cars, right? And these aren't like Hondas or Toyotas. They're Mercedeses and Ferraris, right?
he drove an unmarked police car for a while.
But that wasn't my question. My question was, did he ever have a Mercedes?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and it
Same
wasn't like
girl.
a C300. It was like a 5 Series, right?
I honestly don't know anything about cars.
Well, it was the bigger Mercedes, right?
It was big.
It was the bigger one. And he also had a Ferrari, right?
I know he
Okay, so I have a very, very strong theory about this Wendy proclaiming that she doesn't know about cars. Yeah. So it's a theme throughout. She goes to great pains to stress to the jury and to all the world that she doesn't know about cars. She drives a minivan, right? So the hitmen. So this is so intricate, but so Wendy was dating a guy called Jeffrey Lacasse. Sidebar: Jeffrey Lacasse is the goat. Lacasse. I will do an episode on his testimony because he's amazing. But he drove a car very similar looking to the car that the hitman hired, the rental car, a silver Prius, to carry out the hit. Jeffrey Lacasse was on his way out of Tallahassee driving for a work thing at the exact same time that Professor Dan Markel was murdered. So for Wendi to be able to claim plausible deniability, in obviously the only link to Jeffrey Lacasse and these hitmen is her and the car he drives. So he was supposed to be, in my opinion, allegedly, the fall guy for this, that they were going to say, and she orchestrated this gigantic fight with him and then broke up with him and manipulated him and then got him back and made sure that he was still leaving Tallahassee on that day at that time. It was very odd to Jeffrey Lacasse. So for her to say, I don't know anything about cars, I don't know what cars, I don't know that Charlie drives a Ferrari with Maestro as a number plate, as if that wasn't a family either joke or whatever. For her she needs to be able to say throughout, to not be impeached and plausible deniability, that she doesn't know about cars, because how could she know? And then in which case, there's no way she would have known what sort of car Jeff drove, that she could then relay that information to Charlie, to tell Catherine, Katie, to tell the hitmen. So that's that. IMO. Fundy P, mate. Fundy P. 100%.
You know, we had one really fancy car, but I don't remember what brand it was.
So you're
Righto,
telling
Wendy.
this jury that you don't remember if your brother had a Ferrari?
Cars are really not important to me. You saw mine. I drove a minivan.
Yes, Adam.
But you're not your brother, right?
I am not my brother.
And
No,
you-
I knew he had a fancy car. I just don't remember if it was a Porsche or if it was a Ferrari. It was something fancy.
Something kind of fancy,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So you have a pretty successful brother, right?
He's successful. Yeah.
And he likes to show off his success with his extravagant cars, correct?
He likes fancy cars.
Okay, handsome
He's
guy,
a wanker.
in good shape, right?
He's handsome.
And
Oh
you
my
indicated
God,
that
get
he had a
over
lot
it,
of-
Christopher.
Right?
Yes.
Now, I know you didn't go clubbing with him, but were you aware that he would go to like Miami Beach a lot
I mean,
or South Beach?
sure. I mean, I couldn't say how often he went out or where he was going. It's just not something I would really talk to him about.
When your brother took you out to dinner and you vomited, do you remember what the restaurant was?
I do.
Which restaurant was it?
It's called Uvia.
Okay, where's that located?
It's on Lincoln Road.
Okay, and Lincoln Road's in South Beach, right?
Lincoln Road is in South Beach.
Are you aware if your brother took steroids?
No, I'm not aware if he took steroids.
What about if your brother used illicit drugs?
I'm not
Coke.
aware of my brother using illicit drugs.
And
Coke.
the fact that you're not aware if he used it doesn't mean he didn't use it, correct?
No, I'm just saying I don't know.
Charlie thinks Charlie's good
Do
looking.
you know when Luis Rivera started serving your brother drugs?
I don't know anything about that.
Not your type, Jess.
Your brother would
Neither.
frequent South Beach or Miami Beach sometimes,
I
correct?
don't like fucking
I
wankers.
don't know.
You don't know? The restaurant that he took you to was in South Beach, correct?
I was living close to that restaurant at the time.
And your parents had a home in South Beach also, correct?
My parents did not have a home in South Beach. They were renting an apartment.
I'll rephrase it. They had a place to stay in South Beach, correct?
Correct.
Man, he goes in hard at her by the end. I have shorts on this cross-examination. It's bloody beautiful. Typos, Nick. I feel ya. All the damn time.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, it must be in the next one when he goes harder at her. He does. The next trial, Katie's solo trial. There we go. This is great.
Good afternoon.
How are you
Good
doing?
afternoon.
You
Tara
okay?
Kawas,
I'm fine.
Katie
You nervous?
Magbanaway's attorney.
Am I nervous?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm nervous.
Now, you stated on direct examination that you are a lawyer,
I'm a lawyer.
right? So you understand that the oath that you took before you took the stand, correct?
Yes,
You know
Did
the
you though?
consequences of not being truthful here,
of course.
and you also have a separate obligation as an attorney to tell the truth, right?
Of course.
Now, do you know who killed Dan Markel?
No,
No.
Did your brother have anything to do with killing Dan Markel?
I don't believe so.
Your mother is Donna Adelson.
She is.
Where is she right now?
now
Oh,
she's with my
Melissa.
children.
In, not in
Wow.
Tallahassee.
In Miami.
Okay, she's not in jail.
No,
She's never been arrested before.
no.
Okay, she's not even
That's
testifying in this
Melissa.
case, is she?
Asylum.
To your
No.
knowledge.
To my knowledge, no.
What about your brother?
Songwriting
Charlie? Is he in
queen.
Miami right now.
He's probably in Fort Lauderdale right now.
Okay, but he hasn't been arrested,
No,
hasn't been charged.
No.
And he's not testifying in this case, is he?
No.
Okay. Are you aware if the state has attempted to subpoena them to come to court?
I believe they have received a subpoena to come to court.
Okay, and it was for them to come and
Absolutely.
testify in this trial, or you don't know?
I don't know for certain.
Okay, but you know they've received some form of subpoena.
I heard about that.
When is the last time you spoke to your family, your mom in particular?
This morning, I called to check in on the boys.
Okay. How is your relationship with your parents now? Is it estranged in any way, or you still have a good relationship with your parents?
I still have a good relationship.
What about your brother Charlie?
I still have a good relationship.
When is the last time you spoke to Charlie?
Probably last week at some point.
Okay.
Not
Now
now.
you had mentioned that Charlie is a father.
He is,
When did he have his child? Is it a boy or a girl?
it's a boy.
Okay.
Roman. The
He was
son's name is
born in
Roman.
December 2017.
Okay. So about, I would say that's over a year after Miss
Wait,
McDonald's arrest.
wait.
I couldn't say.
Okay.
Careful there,
Do you
Lisa.
know who the mother of that
Shorty.
child is?
So Charlie's child, Roman, is poor thing. He had a fling with Wendy's babysitter. Yeah, Bree. 20 years, Charlie's junior. And so there's that. Classy, huh? Top bloke, our Charlie. Wendy must have been thrilled. So must Donna.
That is.
I do.
Who is she?
You want her name?
Yes.
Her name is Bree Price.
Okay.
Bree
And
Price.
is he married to her now?
He's not married.
Are they
He
still together?
What?
Depends on the day.
And do you know if he has any other girlfriends at this
I
point?
have no idea.
Have you been keeping up with the media coverage in this case?
I don't watch any media related to this case.
Okay. So, but you are aware of the attention that has been brought on this case?
I'm aware only because of the constant death threats that I receive, yes.
Okay.
Righto,
So just
Wendy,
to
yeah, because you're a
specify,
fucking nightmare.
You haven't watched any of the specials that have been on air about this case?
I have not watched any.
Wendy's
Do you
in
know if
chats,
your
right?
parents have
Wendy
watched
will
any
be in
specials in this
chats
case?
and they hire
I advise them
PR.
not to.
Wait,
They may have seen bits of them, but I
So-
don't know for certain.
What about your brother
Firstly,
Charlie?
I don't know.
Firstly, she's a liar. Obviously, that's a given. That's stipulated. Wendy's a liar. But when oh Darlene, lovely to see you. Wolf's in the chat. Darlene's here. Wolf's in the chat. Oh, woo, 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 woo. What was I going to say? Oh, distracted. Oh, so when in the aftermath of Charlie being convicted, the Adelsons 100%, 1,000,000,000% hired a team of PR people to try and push the narrative that Wendy will never be arrested, because Donna had been arrested, that Wendy will never be arrested, that it's not going to happen. And they would come into chat all the time, into Roberta Glass's chat, which was heavy on the anti-Adelson, also heavy on the anti-Karen Reid. So we don't speak of that channel, but I just did. So guaranteed mods, always keep an eye out. Maybe they're lying low at the moment because they've had some sort of reprieve because no trial. But they, without a doubt, both hired PR people, a bit like the McAlberts, and also brought themselves in to chats, Wendy. And I don't know if she's got friends. Jane McPherson was her good friend. I don't think Wendy has actually friends. She has minions. So very, very interesting. Wait, I think I might just do this before I head back to anything else. Who have we got here?
It's Oblivious Benson, the Frasier of true crime. Join the cult. Worship all things mystery and her dog, the Hoogan. With those in skills sharper than a detective's badge, comedy that'll crack your case wide open, and a cult you'll want to join. Because really, who wouldn't want to follow a dog? Yolanda! Subscribe now. Welcome to the weirdest corner of true crime.
So there's that. OB. I've got a live plan with OB sometime this week. I think we're going to do a deep dive and do some OSINT and talk about a particular group of child sex predators online. That are a very dear friend, one of my closest friends, her daughter was targeted and is still feeling the effects of that. She's actually hospitalized at the moment in a mental health facility because of the trauma she endured through this creature. So anyway, OB, subscribe if you're not already.
I don't know.
Did you watch the state's opening statement in this case?
I did not.
You did not.
I did not.
Okay. So you're not aware of what the state's theory is in this case?
Annie! Hi, Annie!
Now, you mentioned on direct examination something about listening to some recordings that the state provided to you.
Yes.
Okay. Is that the first time you've ever listened to those recordings?
Yes.
Do you know what
Best
those
corner of the
recordings are about?
internet, Megan.
There are many,
Best.
many recordings.
Okay. Did they give you all of the recordings?
I don't know. I listened to what I was given, but I don't know if there's more.
How much time did it take you to listen to the recordings that you were given?
Again, I didn't listen to the entire thing, so probably about an hour to go through all of the recordings and listen to excerpts of each of them.
Of each of them. So you're not aware if the state gave you all of the recordings that they provide, that they have in their possession?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did they have you listen to any recordings that occurred before April 19th of 2016? Sorry, 2016.
I'm
So I'd have to
especially
see the
vapey today.
document to
Sorry,
remember the
guys.
exact date on it.
It's my channel.
I do
I'll do it.
remember my birthday's in April, so I remember the dates being close to that, but
Oh.
I don't remember exactly.
Did they ask you to listen to the phone call where Charlie Adelson is talking to Ms McDaniel about work?
I listened to something.
Evasive, I reckon, Sherry Berry. Evasive.
So it's fair to say that they only let you listen to
Mwah.
portions of the phone calls that they think are important.
I was given conversations and I listened to some of them to authenticate voices, but I don't know. I imagine they thought it was important for me to listen. That's why I did.
Did you listen to a phone call?
Ask your question, don't answer until I rule, please. ma'am. Let's go that way.
Up all night, Ernie. Boom.
Need to wake up. Go ahead, Ms. Fluff.
So the question was, Ms. Adelson, did they have you listen to any phone
Exactly,
calls
Nick.
where it was a conversation between your brother and your mother, if you were able to identify any conversations like this?
I think I did yes.
Now, I want to talk about the circumstances surrounding your actual divorce,
Okay.
which I believe you said was finalized in 2013, right?
Yes.
You just left your divorce papers on a mattress of Dan Markel in the house and left out. Is that correct?
No.
How is it that you delivered the divorce papers to him?
I called him to let him know that I wanted a divorce. It wasn't the first time I asked for a divorce, but it was
No,
the
Wendy,
last
that's
time.
not what you did.
And told him that I would see him when he got home, not home, but back to Tallahassee. And then I did leave the papers for him, but I didn't leave town. I was still in Tallahassee.
Okay. So he was actually aware of the fact that you were going to be seeking a divorce before you actually delivered the papers to him?
I had asked for a divorce several months earlier.
Okay.
That's when we started going to counseling. And he told me that if I tried to get divorced from
Wendy.
him, that I could leave with the clothes on my back and that he would take the
No,
kids
he
and that I would be
didn't.
penniless.
No, he
And
didn't
so
say
when I
that.
actually asked for a
Come on
divorce,
now.
I thought it best not to be there.
So is it fair
Lord.
to say that this was not a mutual thing between the two of you, that Danny did not want a divorce?
I don't think he wanted to get divorced.
I would. Bye, Wendy. Get out of my face.
How close is your brother's relationship, Charlie Adelson, with your mother, Donna Adelson?
I think they're close.
Would you characterize a relationship as closer than you are with your mother?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I do think they talk more frequently than I do, but I don't think closeness always has to do with the frequency of communication.
And you had said on direct that your parents were not happy with Dan Markel's behavior during the divorce.
No, they didn't think he was treating me well.
And is this just Donna Adelson, your mom, or was it both Donna and Hart Adelson?
I'm sure both of my parents felt that way.
Did they ever express those feelings to you?
Yes,
Did they call in names?
yes.
Okay. Did one parent do that more than the other, or it was consistent between the two?
I think it was consistent between the two.
Okay. What kind of names did they call him?
I mean, I've had my memory recently refreshed, so I saw things, but my
Whatever,
memory is,
Wendy.
I don't remember name calling, but I did recently.
Hey, just wanted to say welcome to the people out there who are lurking and not in chat. Thank you for being here, everybody, whether you're lurking or chatting or on replay crew. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps get this stream out into the YouTube algorithm. Very helpful.
Recently see emails where they called him names.
Now, after the divorce, you started dating other people, right? When is it that you had your first, I wouldn't say serious boyfriend, but your first boyfriend after Dan Markel?
Probably within a month.
Okay. When did he, if you know, did he start seeing anybody else after the divorce?
He did, but I don't know when it started.
Okay. And is that Amy, or was it some other person?
I know about Amy, but I don't know if there were other people before Amy.
Did you know what at the time of?
Nick, because Charlie and Donna are co-conspirators in this same thing with the same charges, as soon as Donna was arrested, no more talks. So there are countless hours of torturous jail calls in the week between Charlie's conviction and Donna's arrest, Oh my God, lol. We'll do that one. We'll cover that one time because it's wild. But so and before her arrest, they were talking all the time. But now, no communication between indicted co-conspirators. She's not convicted yet, but yeah, nah. So's Charlie, mommy's boy. Or Donna. She can only talk to Harvey or Wendy, and I feel like they probably don't answer the phone very often.
The murder. Do you know what, if any, future plans Dan Markel had?
I couldn't really say about his future plans, but I felt like by then he and Amy were pretty serious, and he was trying to spend as much time in New York as possible.
Do you know if his intention was, and it's only if you know, it was his intention to remain in Tallahassee, or do you know if he was planning to leave the state?
I think he always planned on leaving Tallahassee. It was just a question of when.
Okay. Do you know why? Did he have an aversion to Tallahassee, or
No,
just...
it wasn't an aversion to Tallahassee.
AJ, this is Katie Magbanaw's defense attorney. So this is the cross. Christopher, oh my God, I'll find his name. The attorney for Sigfredo Garcia. So this is the first trial of Katie and Sigfredo, the middleman and one of the hitmen. He actually is the hitman. Sigfredo Garcia pulled the trigger. Both Katie was offered full immunity if she just gave up the Adelsons, and she refused. And they offered her plea deals, and she would not do it. And now she is spending life in prison without parole. So, oh, I probably should have put the question up on the screen. Lol. Soz. They are so stupid, right? Right. Oh, Astro Lunatic. Sorry, not AJ. Yikes. Here we go. Boom.
Tallahassee, he was a very ambitious person, and so from the moment we arrived in Tallahassee, he was always looking for a stepping stone toward a better university where he could teach.
And he took a very special interest in what he did, which is he's a law professor.
Right.
He graduated from Harvard, and he studied criminal law.
Right, that was his specialty.
Okay. And did there come a time where you were dating someone by the name of Jeffrey Lacasse?
Yes.
You know who that is?
I do.
Do you remember when you started dating Jeffrey Lacasse?
I don't remember exactly, but 20.
Adam, I had listened to the podcast Over My Dead Body, which is a very good long form episodic serialized podcast. Highly recommend. Very well done. And then I just started watching. I hopped into watching YouTube because I'd seen Stephanie Harlow on Facebook and loved her, and decided to see about her content on YouTube and loved the longer form option. And then I can't remember exactly, but I think then I was listening to Defense Diaries podcast, and they had a YouTube channel, Bob Motta. And so I started watching Bob as well as listening to his podcast, and he and Shaming of Jay Shaming were literally within a few days of me jumping into Defense Diaries, they were about to live stream Charlie's trial. So I was all in, and because I knew of the case already, and Jay and Bob, well, actually it was just Jay, but Bob recommended Jay's coverage of that trial. And so I watched the trial with Jay and learned about it. Jay is now no longer a full-time streamer. He's gone back to work, but the Jabo Nation community is amazing, and it was basically the template for me for what sort of community I like to foster, whether it's as a moderator in channels or as a streamer myself. And so and then I became a moderator for Roberta Glass, who she covered extensively in the aftermath of Charlie's trial, Charlie and the Adelsons, and it was a whole lot of roasting, and yeah, so that's that. Love it. Oh. Yikes! I should keep talking and then
2013.
Okay. Do you remember how long you dated him for?
I remember it was less than a year, but probably more than 6 months.
Were you dating him at the time leading up to the homicide, which would be July 18th, 2014?
We broke up a few weeks before Danny was killed, or a week or so. We broke up before Danny was killed.
How would you describe your relationship with Jeffrey Lacasse?
I mean, I think it took different turns. I think it was more casual in the beginning, and then it was getting more serious. And then I was feeling more committed to the relationship. And then in late June, we had this big fight, And after that point, I didn't really want to be with him anymore.
Do you know what the fight was about? Do you
I do.
remember?
I remember what the fight was about.
What was it about?
He didn't
Of
trust
course,
me.
Adam. Anything for
In
you.
terms of
He
seeing
thought
other people?
he thought I was cheating on him.
Okay. And you said you broke up. When was that?
We broke up. It was
Hey,
would've been one
Michelle.
of the
Good to
last
see
weekends in
you.
June.
Mwah. Thanks for
So
joining.
fairly close to when the homicide occurred.
Right.
Now, that spring break, which would have been the month of March,
Mhm.
didn't you and Jeffrey Lacoste come down to Miami?
We did.
Okay. And you stayed with your brother, Charlie?
Yes, Nick. So
We
good.
did.
Okay. And do you know at that time who he was dating?
I don't.
Okay. Does it sound, if I say that was when he was dating Catherine Magdano, is that the correct statement or you don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember having dinner with Jeffrey Lacoste at a restaurant and with your brother and that Catherine Magdano was there?
I have a vague recollection of it.
Okay. And do you remember if this restaurant had outside seating?
We always used to go to the same restaurant, and so I know the restaurant, it has outside seating.
Okay. And when you met Catherine Magdano,
Okay, Wendy.
Charlie introduced you to her as his girlfriend.
Probably.
Okay.
Definitely as someone that he was seeing, right? I don't remember if he used the term girlfriend, but in a romantic kind of way,
Okay.
not as just a friend.
And am I characterizing Mr. Charlie Adelson correctly when I say, you had said he has lots of girlfriends?
I've met
Same,
lots
Adam.
of girls over the
Same.
years, which is why it's hard to remember whether I had dinner with one person versus another.
Do you know what his thoughts and beliefs are in marriage? Does he not believe in marriage?
I don't think he's so pro-marriage, no.
He
Do you
prefers
know
to
how many
sow
times
his
you
oats
spent- how
far
many
and
times you met
wide.
Katie? We talked about the time on the beach, and then we've already now talked about dinner.
I remember vaguely those two. I don't remember any other time.
Do you remember the name of the person that was in that picture with you?
No.
Okay. Does Yindra Velasquez Mascaro sound familiar?
So
No.
Yindra,
Now, you
wait,
didn't have a really close
wait.
relationship.
Be more prepared, Lisa. Yindra actually did and it's very good, a live stream on the Shaming of Jay channel, and she spilled all the tea about Katie. So she and Katie were best friends. So actually, Adam, could you see if you could find Jay's channel and it's called The Shaming of Jay, or one word in his handle, and drop it in the chat for me, please. Such a good interview, and he's a great guy. His community is amazing. Hop on over to his channel, and you can watch all of Charlie's trial with him if you like. He's a fucking hilarious guy. Good man, and all the love for Jay and Bob Mother Defense Diaries. Absolutely. Wait, let me just do one more thing before we go back, because we may as well. What do we got here? Oh, this one. Oh, so cute.
Meet Miss Shorty on YouTube, where real talk meets real life. From overcoming trauma to true crime stories, she shares her journey to healing. Subscribe for stories that inspire and empower. Miss Shorty, your guide through life's toughest moments.
With Katie, right?
No,
Okay. Did you know that Katie has 2 kids?
I did.
Remember this, we're not gonna get first names.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge, I apologize. Did you know that Miss Magbanwa had children?
I did know that.
Okay. Did you ever discuss with Miss Magbanwa the details of the divorce that you had before she even knew who your brother was?
That wouldn't be possible because I only met her with my brother.
Okay, so you didn't talk, your relationship wasn't a close relationship where you would talk to her about Dan Markel.
No,
Do you ever remember having a conversation with Miss Magbanwa about Dan Markel and your divorce?
it's very possible that I brought it up,
Mhm.
but not,
Nothing stands out.
no, not at all.
Now, I want to talk to you about the time of the murder, okay? The
I
day
messaged you,
before
Adam.
The homicide, all right?
Okay,
You
I
had talked
messaged
about
you.
your custody situation with Dan Markel, that it was a week on, week off. Is that correct?
that's right.
And an overnight stay switch on a Wednesday.
That's my best memory.
So a better way to describe it would be, if it's your week, you have the boys, but on Wednesday night, they will sleep at Dan Markel, do an overnight sleepover at Dan Markel.
Right.
And then return them to you the next day.
Or return them to school and then,
And then you pick them up in the evening.
right.
So
Right.
the day of the homicide, do you remember what day of the week that was?
I believe it was Friday.
Okay. So the day before would have been a Thursday.
Right.
Okay. Do you remember what you were doing that day?
I don't.
Is there any way that you would have been walking down Trescott Drive with your 2 sons the day before his murder?
No, I don't live in walking distance, so there's no reason why I would have been walking down the street. No.
You and Mr. Markel weren't on that kind of talking or speaking terms where you would be at the Trescott home and he wasn't there.
No,
You wouldn't go and take the boys for a walk on Trescott.
So it was later proven that that wasn't Wendy that Tara's asking about, but at this point in 2019, they did believe that Wendy had actually gone for a walk and sort of tasted the joint. I don't know what. It wasn't her. But while we're talking about Wendy around the time of the murder, and when Tara asked her, what were you doing? And she's like, I don't know. Oh, dirty paws, Wendy, dirty paws. You may have seen the photos of what Wendy was wearing when she went in to have her, after Professor Markel, Danny, was murdered. She was wearing this owl t-shirt, and a pair of shorts and a pair of scuffy ballet flats and a hair in a ponytail. And she went out to lunch. And this is obviously a woman who cares how she looks, very much so. And it was very wild that she was wearing this. If she was, even though it was a last minute lunch date with the girls, that she was wearing this attire. And actually, it's kind of speculated that in Wendi driving to Trescott, she was actually supposed to come across Dan's body, and she was going to be the one. And that could be her. I didn't do it, even though that's stupid, because someone who finds the body is often the first suspect. Add that to the fact that she's was his ex-wife, Dom. But I believe, because this is all planned, the whole point of this murder was so that Wendi and the children could move to Miami to be with Donna and Harvey. So I'm of the opinion that she was packing up her house, and she was wearing her packing clothes, her moving clothes, around the house stuff. She also wouldn't let Jeffrey Lacasse, her boyfriend, the goat, come to her house for the last week or so. And I think it's because she was packing the house up ready to go, and she couldn't let him see that, because if he did, then he would know that, what are you packing for, y'all?
Trescott Drive.
I don't think so, no.
And as far as you knew at that time, the kids, what school were they attending?
They went to creative preschool.
Okay, and when you would drop the kids off at creative preschool, do you have to sign them in?
Months,
have to
Nick,
sign 'em
months and
Okay,
months.
and then, so there should be a record of the
months?
days that the boys would have been at the preschool.
That's right.
What time would you drop the boys off? Do you remember?
I
Is it
don't.
an early morning thing, or?
I would drop them off in the morning.
There's a case management hearing on the 15th of October at 2:30 p.m. and they'll set trial dates and stuff then, I'd say, because they have all the discovery. It's just that the second chair attorney is now going to be the lead attorney, and I presume he'll probably get a second chair himself. Now that Rashi's off the case completely, removed himself, taken his millions of dollars in his suitcase, he's probably going to Vietnam. So we'll find out more in less than a month, and I would suggest that it'll probably be about March next year. That's my call. I could be wrong. It happens occasionally.
I don't remember. Maybe it was 8, maybe it was 9.
But nothing late, like 11.
I don't think so.
And then what would be the usual time you pick them up in the afternoon?
I think it would depend on whether I was teaching or if I had court, what I was up to. But my guess is sometime between 3 and 6, I would pick them up.
Yes.
So would it be fair to say that, around 11 o'clock in the morning, the boys would probably be in school on a weekday?
That would be right.
Do you know someone by the name of Whitney?
I do know Whitney.
Who is Whitney?
Whitney was a girlfriend of my brother's.
Do you know who introduced Charlie to Mr. Adelson to Whitney?
I don't.
Do you know how long they were dating?
I don't.
Do you remember when they started dating?
I don't remember when they started dating.
Okay. When did your brother buy you that TV?
Creative preschool. That's
I
it.
remember having the TV in the house on Aqua Ridge. So sometime after the fall of 2012.
Okay, so the TV that the Geek Squad were coming to repair was a brand new television, relatively brand new, 2 years old, that Charlie bought for Wendi because it was lol cheaper than hiring Hitman. Huh, why can't we have both? So it's the theory is that because Wendi says that one of her children threw something at the television which created an irreparable crack, not even a crack, these days, how old am I? Old. The television was inoperable and not repairable. Cheaper to just buy a new one and have a Hitman. So, but Jeff Lacasse saw this damaged television, and he testifies that in his opinion, this was not damage that a 2 and 4 year old could have done to this television, and that actually Wendi damaged the TV in readiness for having the alibi of having Geek Squad coming to visit her at her home to repair the television. And actually the repairman walked in and said, this isn't repairable. This is ridiculous. You may as well, it's going to cost more to repair it than it is to get a new one. So Wendi calls Charlie to tell him that, which is what I just told you that in 15 seconds. She's on the phone to him for like too many phone calls. Am I thinking Karen Reed? It was either 17 minutes or maybe longer, maybe more like 39 minutes. I think it was 17 minutes. And in future testimonies, Wendi, Georgia grills Wendi on this. Like, what were you talking about? Why were you talking to him for that long? And she's like, well, I was just finding out what I should do. Well, suck the telly and get a new one, right? So imagine what sort of a snake, an evil woman, like drops her children in and uses her children and says that they were the ones who damaged the television that she damaged so that she can have an alibi. Yikes.
And then sometime between 2012, 2013, something like that.
Do you remember making a phone call to Charlie that morning and having a conversation with him without going into the details of that conversation?
Which morning?
The morning of Danny's murder.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Judge, Mr. Markel's murder.
Which
Do you remember
morning,
how long it
Wendi?
I don't remember how long I spoke for.
Tell us, Tara.
Now, you described your brother as a talker. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think I described him as more of a joker than
Joker.
a talker, but
Fool!
he does.
A murderer.
Do you remember the circumstances under which he made that statement that the state talked about hiring a hitman, but instead I got you this TV? Who else was around when the statement was made?
Well, he tends to repeat himself, so he kept repeating that joke because he thought it was funny.
Okay, but do you remember the time frame of when that happened? Like, was this way before?
Nick, actually, no, they weren't professionals, and they were hoods, though. Sigfredo Garcia, not a Latin King. Luis Rivera, who wasn't the hitman, he was the driver. He was the head of the Latin Kings. But Luis Rivera was like, why are we murdering this guy? Why don't we just steal all his money? And they wouldn't. The plan was, Sigfredo did not want to disappoint his baby mama, and so he insisted. This was their second attempt. The first attempt ended in an abort mission. They chose to not go through with it. They couldn't find Dan. And on the way home, Sigfredo was fooling around with the gun and actually shot the gun accidentally into the floor of that rental car and shot through the fuel line. And they had to pull up by the side of the road. And they called. Well, the testimony is that they didn't call it; it just was happenstance. But they Shodrick Nobles, such a character. I have shorts about him in my shorts playlist. Funny guy. He was the plug man. He was their dealer. He was the one supplying them with the hitmen's coke on both trips, etc. Coke, etc. And they called him, and he drove Sigfredo to the latest, whatever you guys call it in the US, like an auto repairs shop where you can buy things. And they bought a new fuel line and repaired the damage by the side of the road. But they went back and found that rental car which had the damage, and they could corroborate that with the rental company. So it was a true story.
Or, during the course of your divorce, or was this after?
It would have been when he bought the TV.
When he bought the TV. And that would be after the divorce.
Well, not after I filed for divorce, right? But not after the divorce was finalized. So sometime after, I really don't remember when I got the TV, but maybe sometime starting with the fall of 2012, sometime around then, but it could have been 2013.
Do you know, now your parents' apartment on South Beach, are they still living there?
No.
Okay, so they moved.
They did.
At the time, do you know how much their rent was in that apartment?
I have no idea.
You said they did not own that property?
No.
Okay. And now you said that you stayed in Tallahassee after the homicide.
I stayed for a few days.
She
And
flew
you
out.
called
She
it
drove out the day of the
to
funeral,
call you.
for God's sake.
After I had left,
Before you left Tallahassee, but after the memorial service for Mr. Markel.
Scandalous.
he did not call me before I left Tallahassee. No.
Did he?
She organized with Ruth and Phil Markel, the grandparents, Danny's parents, she was evasive but non-committal, but that they could come over and see their grandchildren after the funeral. And by the time Ruth and Phil got to the Adelson, wherever they were, I'm not sure where they were, she'd already hightailed it out with the boys and moved to Miami the day of the funeral. What? And that theme has continued throughout. The Markels have only seen their grandchildren a handful of times. Up until Charlie's conviction. I'm not sure about that now, but literally in the 9 years since their son's murder, they'd seen their grandsons a handful of times because Wendi is a murderer, allegedly.
Did he try to call you?
He called me when I was already on the road,
Okay.
about 4 hours away from Tallahassee.
All right. Did he ever try to talk to you again?
No.
As a prosecution? When is the first time the prosecution reached out to you to speak to you about what happened?
I don't remember ever talking with the prosecution.
Object. I have a question.
Let's go to sidebar.
Proceed, Your Honor. Okay. Do you know if Detective Isom ever tried to reach out to your parents?
Adam's favorite
I don't
movie.
think he did.
Do you know if Detective Isom ever tried to speak to your brother Charlie?
I don't think he did.
Now, you are testifying today under a state subpoena, correct?
Correct.
And that state subpoena gives you immunity for your testimony, right?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury, since you're an attorney, what immunity is?
Immunity is freedom from prosecution.
So that means that anything you say today can't be used against you if the state decides to arrest you later on.
The state isn't going to decide to arrest me.
Do you know if they consider you a suspect?
I don't know.
Again, if I had a soundboard, as says Adam also, if he had a soundboard, we would have done a record screech right there. Let me, oh, another dirty pause. Sorry, not sorry, Wendy. Suck it, bitch. Hang on, wait. Listen to this. Pay close attention. Let me see. Did I get it to the right spot?
Hours away from Tallahassee.
Did he ever try to talk to you again?
No.
As a prosecution? When is the first time the prosecution reached out to you to speak to you about what happened?
I don't remember ever talking with the prosecution.
Object. I have a question.
Let's go to sidebar.
Sidebar. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all.
Proceed, Your Honor.
Mwah.
Do you know if Detective Isom ever tried to reach out to your parents?
I don't think he did.
Do you know if Detective Isom ever tried to speak to your brother Charlie?
I don't think he did.
Now, you are testifying today under a state subpoena, correct?
Correct.
And that state subpoena gives you immunity for your testimony, right?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury, since you're an attorney, what immunity is?
Immunity is freedom from prosecution.
So that means that anything you say today can't be used against you if the state decides to arrest you later on.
The state isn't going to decide to arrest me.
Oh, really?
Do you know if they consider you a suspect?
I don't know.
Now, the life insurance policy that the state was asking you about, have you received any money from the life insurance policy from Mr. Markel?
I don't know if maybe in the beginning, the life insurance that Danny owed me about $100,000 when he died. I do think that his family made that disbursement. I don't know if they paid that through the life insurance policy, but other than that, there's been, the life insurance policy is money put away for the kids. I've never seen it.
Do you have access to that, or you have no control over
I
that?
have no control over that.
All right, and I have, where did you say, so your boys are now down in Miami with your mother, correct?
At the moment, yes.
And you stopped letting Danny's parent or Mr. Markel's parents see the boys, is that correct?
2 years after Danny died, I stopped visitation.
Okay, do you have any intention of letting them see their grandchildren again?
I do. We've actually been in discussion the last few weeks.
Nope.
No further questions, Judge.
Redirect.
Yes, Georgia. Let's go, Georgia.
How many times have Dan's parents been able to see your boys in the last 5 years?
In the last 2 years after they died, they've been able to see them every time they've asked to see them.
Okay, what about the last 3 years?
Ashley, sidebars are not to be heard by the jury because they're discussions about things to know whether those things are allowed to be heard as testimony by the jurors. So you can't unring a bell, yeah? You can't, once the shit is out of the horse, you cannot get it back. So a sidebar is something to be adjudicated by the court, by the judge, and then once they've made their determination, or the attorneys have argued their objection or their case, their stance on why something should or should not be either allowed in, or a question asked a certain way, then they go back and it's back on the record. Those things are in the record, but they're not. So the court reporter hears them, but the jury cannot hear those things because they're a determination as to what the jury is going to be allowed to be heard. That's why sometimes when there's mic drop moments where an attorney will drop something, like Alan Jackson in Karen Reid, for example, saying things that he doesn't care. He wants those things to be said, and Bev would admonish him. But once you can tell the jury to disregard what they just heard, whatever it is, particularly sort of throwaway comments, argumentative stuff, or inappropriate comments by the attorneys or by the witness. Even like when Ryan Nagel mentioned the feds. I think they just let that one slide. I can't recall now, but so that's why sidebars are not to be heard. But if you get the records, the transcripts, that is available. It's on the record. It's just not for the jury's ears.
Since 2016, they have not been permitted to see the boys.
They have not been permitted
That's right.
by you,
By me, yes.
right? And that's not through lack of trying on their part.
No, that's because of what they did.
Okay, but they want to see those boys, don't
They
they?
very much want to see the boys.
All right. And Dan Markel's sister is I'm not sure if this is the right word, but the executor of that trust for the boys. Is that right?
I think she has fiduciary responsibility over the trust for the
All
boys.
right, thank you. That sounds right. Did you at one time
Nick.
hold that position in Dan's will?
Oh, before we got divorced, I probably did.
Okay, but sometime after the divorce, he changed that over to the sister.
He must have, yes.
Okay. And did you initiate proceedings to try to fight that decision that he made to make the sister the executor or the beneficiary, have the fiduciary duty for this money over you, to the disbursement to your children?
Can you rephrase
Okay,
the
so
question for
did
me?
you initiate any
Wendy.
type of proceeding at any point to try to contest or fight Dan Markel's sister being appointed as this fiduciary for the life insurance for the boys?
I don't believe that I did.
You did not.
I don't remember doing that, no.
No further questions.
I need your other question at this point. If you do, right then, we'll go sidebar.
So, Adam, this is basically, they didn't do anything. She just hated Danny with such a passion. She wanted to eradicate him. They all hated him. And they wanted to continue to punish Danny and the Markel family, even in death. So she's just a very, very evil person. Parental and grandparental alienation is very real. And it was to continue to punish and to hurt her ex-husband, the Professor Dan Markel, even in death by proxy through his parents. Despicable. Oh wait, let me see. Wendy looking like a robot. Okay, Wendy. I don't even know what's happening. Why am I even here?
So over 5 years have passed since Danny.
About you said your memory had been refreshed about something. What did you mean by that?
So over 5 years have passed since Danny died. And I'm
Speak to
sorry. So more than 5 years have passed since Danny died. And a lot of the things that we're talking about today, I just don't remember at all. And so to refresh my memory, to make sure that I could remember things, certain documents were shown to me, emails, legal pleadings from the case, so that I could remember what was happening at that time.
So these are
one of the
jury
jurors was
questions.
a little confused with the timing. You had said you had a boyfriend, and that it was not clear to them whether you said it was a month after your separation and filing for divorce, or a month after it was finalized.
Sure. So I started dating someone who was a friend of mine for many years, and it didn't become romantic until after I had filed for divorce. So about a month after I filed for divorce, someone who was a friend in my life became more like a boyfriend than a friend.
Lucky him.
What was wrong with the television that had to be repaired?
I think one of my kids might have thrown something at it, so there was a crack in the TV.
And why have Mr. Markel's parents not been allowed to see the grandchildren?
Well, they were allowed to see the grandchildren for 2 full years, and I used to cook
They
meals
live
for
in
them,
Canada.
and arrange play dates. We had sleepovers, and then I found out that that Ruth Markel had reached out.
Ruth and Phil Markel live in Canada. Wendy, Miami. You almost could not be further away from each other unless the Markels lived in Australia. So, righto, Wendy. Righto. Yikes.
Reached out to a foster care agency to try to place my children with that agency, and I became very worried that they were trying to take my children away from me. And so after that time, I didn't feel a level of trust that they could spend time with the kids. I was afraid they were trying to take them from me.
Rightly so, Wendy. Evil.
Follow up, Ms. Cappleman.
Your reference to the foster care agency, does that have to do with an email that was sent to me from your mother-in-law?
Yes, it does.
All right, Dan's mother.
Yes.
And that email was in reference to, in the event that you and your parents were arrested in association with this crime, could I please contact that particular agency to assist with the children in the event they have no guardian temporarily until they could get down here from where they reside in Canada. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so they were not trying to take your children unless there was an event where you were unable to care for them.
But because there's no event in which I would be unable to care for them, that feels like trying to take away my children.
Yet, Wendy, yet.
Garcia.
No follow-up question.
McManus.
And this email about there being possible arrests of you and your family, that came right after Catherine McManus was arrested, right?
I don't remember exactly the timeline of that.
Okay, thank you.
Further, Ms. Captain?
No, sir.
All right, you can step down. Do we need to keep this witness any further? Anybody need her any further? McManus?
One brief moment, Your Honor.
Hold on a second, Ms. Adelson.
Under subpoena, Your Honor.
You remain. under
Enjoy,
their subpoena.
enjoy.
Right,
Happy
you-
birthday, daughter.
Tonight at 7 p.m. that she returned home and.
Right, you can communicate with her about any arrangements. If you need her to come back, but she's free to go at this point.
Your Honor, we'll reach out to her attorney when we come back.
All right, last thing I get this afternoon, it's probably not what you want to hear, but it was a little legal lesson that one of the jurors raised. They asked a question about the type of immunity that was discussed by Ms. Adelson. It's really not a fact question, it's a legal question. So this is a little legal lesson. In the state of Florida, there are three kinds of immunity. There's transactional immunity, there's use immunity, there's use and derivative use immunity. Transactional immunity means that some person cannot be prosecuted for an offense. Use immunity means that what the person says cannot directly be used against them. Use and derivative use immunity means that what they say cannot be used against them, nor can it be used to develop leads to gather evidence against them. The type of immunity that Ms. Adelson has received, because I have been the one that explained it to her, is use and derivative use immunity. In other words, what she says today cannot be used directly against it, nor can it be used to develop leads against her. She does not have transactional immunity. I mean, she could be prosecuted for the crimes involved, but what she said cannot be used against her, nor used for any leads to develop information. So hopefully that answers the juror's question that asked the question.
It does,
Time
Judge.
to
Thank you.
Call it a weekend. Remember, we won't be meeting Monday. Need to be back here, same place, same time, 8:45 Tuesday morning.
All right.
Don't discuss the case.
So, turn that off in my ears because yikes. So that's that, team. That's that. We got through the very first of Wendy's testimony. So I guess next weekend, probably same time, same place. We'll see. Oh, definitely same place. We might go through her second testimony where her outfit is the same, but her hair is not straightened. Must have left a straightener at home. Lol. Before you go, love you to stick around for starters. We've got in 15 minutes the Zell brothers, Frank and Jim Zell, episode 5 in the Boulder Syndrome, my series deep diving into these twin brothers from New York, their investigation into the John Benet Ramsey murder, which they started looking into from the jump, from the get. It's been an amazing, there's a whole playlist, 5 episodes, but if you want to come on in, we're talking about their end game and the involvement of St. John's Church tonight. So please do come in and listen, and if not, catch the replay. But also, we'll do that. And I'm talking to Tommy CPU tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning for us in Australia, actually at 7 a.m. But 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, Tommy CPU is going to come on and we'll talk about that then. Babe. On that note, Karen Reed, if you would like a free Karen Reed sticker, custom by me, limited edition. It's a vinyl sticker. I was calling it a bumper sticker, but it's kind of the perfect size. I'm going to put one on my hard hat. Make a direct donation to Karen Reed's Defense Fund, or her Venmo or her PayPal. Send me a screenshot of your receipt. $10 will get you one. Up to $50 will get you one. $50 to $100 will get you 2 stickers, and $100 or more will get you 3 stickers. Shoot me an email or a DM with your screenshot and your postal address, and I will get either myself in Australia or one of my helpers in the US to send you out one. So we've already raised just under $2,000, so that's pretty cool. What else we got here? I was going to say something else. Yes, Ernie the church, huh? The church, interesting. I think that Nick will be interested in this. He very keen to know more about the church involvement. There's always something, isn't there, with the church? Can you please make sure you drop a comment in the after the stream is ended? It helps get this stream out into the algorithm, like hitting the like. Make sure you've subscribed. Thank you so much to Miss Mandy Reacts and to Laurie Life 360 for the super stickers. Love you. Laurie is going to be joining me tomorrow night at 7 Eastern or 9 a.m. in Australia for my next Let's Talk episode. We're talking grief and addiction in the same episode. Thank you, Adam, for dropping that link in the chat. That's Karen's Defense Fund there. So tomorrow, 3 streams, and I can't remember what the third one is. Something. I'm a bit tired. Lol. You made yours into a magnet, Ernie. That's a great idea. What a fantastic idea. Amazing. Okay, so thank you so much, Miss Jess, Nick, and Adam, my amazing moderators, the Mod Avengers, for being here. Thank you, chat, for dropping by. If you were lurking, thank you. If you were in the chat, love it. Let's keep getting our Adelson fix, huh? Stick around if you can. And I'm going to say peace out, I reckon. Let's play the banger. So many bangers, but this one, video by my man, Adam Drives Helen. Make sure you, actually, wait, let me do this first.
Ready for the road less traveled? Join Adam Drives Helen on YouTube, where van life meets personal growth. And mysteries of the world come to life. Explore the unknown. Subscribe now. Adam Drives Helen, adventure, growth, and the unexplained.
Okay, love your faces. Let's go out on this one. Boom. See ya, shorties. Bye.